I made a book today, and while making that book, I made a big mistake. This is the book, and I want you to watch the video up until I made the big mistake, and then I will explain what I'll explain what the big mistake was. Look forward to that. Please watch. This is basically one of my projects to get rid of some leftover scrap paper, and it's working quite well. Everything that's in this book except the thread are leftovers. And the covers are leftover collages that I made maybe 1 or 2 years ago. But the paper is leftover from a printing company, and the covers are leftover. Actually, the covers are collages which were made with leftover stuff. So the collages are leftover, and they're being repurposed for covers on this book. And the end bands are made of recycled book cloth and twine. So everything in this book is leftovers. And as it turns out, one box of leftovers is half full. It used to be completely full. Now it's half full. And part of that is I was looking at some of the smaller papers and smaller pieces, and I thought maybe I don't need them, so I threw them away. Here's the thing about making a Japanese style book. Sometimes you need very small paper just for the edges, just for the corners. So I was keeping them, and now I have no future looking into Japanese book style books because they're hard to open. So I'm concentrating on other styles. So I'm not keeping small papers, and I'm not keeping papers that are like very wadded up. I mean, not papers, but like book cloth that's wadded up and wrinkly. I understand it could look good, but I'm just trying to get rid of stuff. Hopefully, I'll get rid of more. One thing I've learned about making books is measuring stuff has to be accurate. Measuring the height and the width of the book block, the height of the width of the covers. Everything has to be measured more than once. The carpenter's motto of measure twice, cut once is, in bookbinding, measure 3 or 4 times and make sure you are correct the next time you cut it. Measuring has to be important. It's especially important when you are using leftover or scrap material. You have to make sure the scrap material fits nicely. On this particular book, and some others I've made, I do not put a spine piece in the spine. Usually the spine piece is made out of the book board that makes up the covers. In this case, I am making a book cloth go around the spine area, but without putting in the spine piece, if that makes sense. The spine area is covered with book cloth or with thick paper. Makes it easier to open, but it also makes it important to measure correctly. So I measured correctly. I measured the distance around the text block and came up with 30 centimeters. Then I cut the piece of paper 30 centimeters. Ta-da! Perfect. Except in bookbinding, in lots of bookbinding, you do not make the book board the same size as the text block. Same height, not as wide. I did that. Perfect. Yay! But I forgot I did it, so when I glued the collage to the spine area piece, it was way too small. And I did not notice that until I glued cover together, put it in nice and sharply, and then I put the text block in and noticed I was 3 centimeters too short. Big mistake. So I had to cut the spine piece area in half and then add another spine piece area that was not 30, it was more like 50 millimeters wide. And then I glued the collage to that, and then I put in the text block, and that worked out. But that big mistake, big mistake, silly me. You live, and sometimes I learn. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for possible future mistakes.